the Ombudsman of Ontario. For service in English, press 1. Vous avez...
Thank you for calling the Office of the Ontario Ombudsman. If you know the extension number of the person you are calling, you may enter it at any time. Press 2 to access the office's directory. If you're calling to make a new complaint, please stay on the line and your call will be answered by the next available staff member. Press 0 to speak with reception, or 1 to repeat these options. Please listen to the following two options carefully. Veuillez écouter attentivement les deux options suivantes. To make a complaint about a provincial government organization, a school board, or a university, please press 1. To make a complaint about a municipality, please press 2. Pour faire une plainte concernant un organisme du gouvernement provincial, un conseil scolaire ou une université, appuyez sur le 1. Pour faire une plainte concernant une municipalité, appuyez sur le 2.
Please be aware that your call may be recorded for accuracy, quality assurance, and training purposes. Veuillez noter que votre appel peut être écouté à des fins d'exactitude, d'assurance de la qualité et de formation du personnel.
Ontario Ombudsman Justin speaking.
Yeah, I saw the complaint back on the 2016-10-27, and I haven't heard anything back yet.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Could I just get your last name?
It's Burgess with an I.
Burgess?
Yeah, B-U-R-G-I-S-S.
B-O-R...
B-U.
Oh, sorry, B-U-R-G-U-I-S-S?
G-I-S-S.
And first name?
Robert.
Robert?
Yeah.
You filed this complaint back in September?
Yep.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind just holding the line.
Yeah.
Hello, Robert?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your file was assigned to Al. I'm going to put you through to Al now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, it's Robert Burgess calling. I told you got my file from September.
Yeah. So, yeah, we did speak in September, Robert, and I'm just reviewing the file to see what I put in there. So I believe we have a note on our file saying that we're not going to look into issues of OIPRD or the Ministry of the Attorney General's refusal to review complaints about Hamilton Police Services.
Yeah.
And then the issue that you called was specifically about the Hamilton Police Services.
No, this is about the Halton Police.
The Hamilton Police?
The Halton Police.
Halton?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when it comes to police services, our office does not have jurisdiction.
Yeah, I didn't file a complaint with you guys about that. I filed a complaint with you guys about the Attorney General's office.
And when did you file that complaint?
That was 2016-10-27.
10/27 meaning in October?
Yeah.
And did you file it by phone?
No, I did it on your website.
A web submission?
Yeah.
Nothing's coming up. Did you put your name in when you filed that complaint?
Yes.
Yeah, the last I'm seeing in your file is the conversation we had in September.
Right.
So I think if there is a new complaint that you'll need to refile that.
So what did you say back in September?
So in September, with regard to the Hamilton Police Services Board holding a closed-door meeting.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
That's what we discussed, and then I'm just not seeing anything on our computer about another complaint that was filed.
All right, so if I file another one today, how long do I wait before I call?
Well, I guess two things. One, it usually takes us a few weeks from the time we receive a complaint till we make the call to discuss it. But the other thing is, if you want to explain to me over the phone what the complaint is, I can discuss it with you today.
I asked the Attorney General's office to hold the director of the OIPRD accountable for his office covering up complaints against police, because it says in the Memorandum of Understanding on the OIPRD's website that the director is accountable to the Attorney General for the performance of the OIPRD in fulfilling its mandate and for carrying out the rules and responsibilities assigned to the director by the Police Services Act. But the Attorney General's office says we can't hold them accountable.
Yeah, and I'm noticing, and obviously I haven't been here the whole time that you've been making complaints to our office, and
yeah.
I don't know the full history, but I do know that there's a note on your file saying that we won't respond to and we won't address anymore the Ministry of the Attorney General's refusal to review.
Why is that?
I could go back in the file to see when that was issued, but
yeah.
I would imagine that, we've addressed it to you, and
yeah.
I think that the note says that there's been a letter that's sent out to you.
Yeah, and the guy says that that was a complaint about the Attorney General's office refusing to do another review into the police complaint system, and the guy said that that's a broad public policy issue or something you guys can't review. And I've been told since then that's been changed, that you guys can do it, but now I've been told that it's not an administrative duty for them to do that. But this holding the director of the OIPRD accountable is an administrative duty. It says it right in the Memorandum of Understanding.
Yeah, so let me see if I can pull up the letter. Okay, so this was the complaint in 2010 where you had complained the OIPRD was covering up complaints about Hamilton Police Services. OIPRD wasn't investigating. We said to you that accordingly we cannot review how the OIPRD deals with complaints about the police conduct.
Yeah, but I wasn't complaining to you guys about the OIPRD. I was complaining about the Attorney General's office.
And then it says, in regards to your concern that the ministry unfairly refused to investigate your allegations that the OIPRD was covering up complaints about Hamilton Police Services, our office reviewed the relevant legislation and made inquiries to the ministry. The ministry advised our office that the OIPRD is an independent office and that the director has the authority under the Police Services Act to review and respond to public complaints about police conduct. The director also has the discretion to refuse to review complaints in certain circumstances.
Where does it say that? I know you said refuse to deal with a complaint. Yeah. But where does it say they can refuse to explain it to me?
What do you mean refuse to explain it?
Explain their decision, what the evidence was for the decision.
Well, I would think that falls within their discretion. So
no, it says on their website that they're transparent.
Right, and I imagine they do make an effort to be transparent, but putting on your website that you're going to be transparent isn't necessarily the same as explaining every decision that's made and providing every bit of information available.
Yeah, but that's not what it says on their website, though. It says they're transparent.
Right, and so ultimately we certainly don't have oversight over the OIPRD.
Yeah. But that's not what I'm complaining about to you guys. I'm complaining about the AG's office.
Right, but the complaint is that the AG's office isn't holding the OIPRD accountable.
Yes.
We did, in 2010, make inquiries with the ministry to get their response with regard to this complaint.
Yeah.
Their response satisfied our office.
What was their response?
Their response was that the OIPRD is an independent office and that the director has the authority under the Police Services Act to review and respond to public complaints about police conduct. The director also has the discretion to refuse to review complaints in certain circumstances.
So what about what it says in the Memorandum of Understanding?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
If you go to their website, the OIPRD's website,
is this the Memorandum of Understanding between the OIPRD and the Attorney General?
Yes. Are you on their website now?
Yeah.
Okay, if you go to the search box on the right-hand side,
yeah,
type in Memorandum of Understanding.
Yeah, I've got the Memorandum of Understanding in front of me.
And you see 5C?
The director is accountable to the Attorney General for the performance of the OIPRD in fulfilling its mandate and for carrying out the roles and responsibility assigned to the director by the PSA, management principles, all directives, and this MOU. Right. And so the Attorney General has the opportunity to replace the director.
Okay.
But the Attorney General has also made the decision that the director is the person who has the discretion to make decisions about how they operate.
No, the Police Services Act does that. The director can't intentionally cover up a complaint against the police.
And have you sought legal counsel with regard to this complaint?
No, I don't need to. I've done legal work before. I mean, the Memorandum of Understanding is pretty clear.
So, you are correct in that the Police Services Act covers the scope of the OIPRD's authority and discretion. The OIPRD explained to you why they wouldn't be reviewing your complaints any further, and we can't investigate the OIPRD.
Right, but you can investigate the Attorney General's office.
and the ministry has provided you with an explanation as to why it would not be taking further action.
Right, but that contradicts what the Memorandum of Understanding says.
We were satisfied with the Attorney General's response, and there's now a note on our file saying that this is not something that we're going to reopen and further discuss.
Okay, why is that?
Because we looked into the matter. We were satisfied with the responses provided.
Why were you satisfied when the Memorandum of Understanding clearly states they can hold the director accountable, and you just said they can replace the director if it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't they replace the guy?
But I think where the confusion lies is you read the sentence that they can hold the director accountable, and you're taking that to mean that everyone involved should be responding in the way that you think is appropriate.
Well, if it makes sense.
Ultimately, there's discretion available to the director. The Ministry of the Attorney General is not concerned with the director's actions in this instance.
Why is that?
I don't have the correspondence that the ministry sent you.
They just said they can't investigate them because they're independent from the government. But that's not what the Memorandum of Understanding says.
The ministry would have discretion in terms of how to exercise its role, and because the Police Services Act makes the OIPRD independent, right? So the Police Services Act says that the OIPRD is independent, and if the ministry were
to arm's length.
Jump in and second-guess every decision...
It's arm's length.
Pardon me?
It's arm's length independent. It's not completely, totally independent.
Mm-hmm.
But a Memorandum of Understanding says they can hold them accountable.
And the ministry, in its belief of what the term arm's length independence means, does not intervene and interfere with day-to-day decision-making authority of the OIPRD.
But that's not what the memorandum says.
So all of these issues, Robert, were addressed in 2010. Again, there's a service note on your account saying that we're not going to further review this. The note says that 3 letters were issued to you to explain this.
Yeah, but the Memorandum of Understanding says they can hold them accountable.
I'm aware of what it says, but I'm also telling you what our file says, and the fact that this was reviewed 6 years ago and a response was provided to you, and that as an office we've made the decision that we're not going to go back and go over this again and again.
Yeah, but the explanation that was given to me was about another complaint, not about this one. You haven't explained how the Memorandum of Understanding doesn't say they can hold them accountable.
Well, what I am explaining is that it's not something that our office is going to look into because we dealt with the complaint in 2010. And
yeah, but that was a different complaint, though.
I appreciate that you feel that it's different, but it's the exact same issue that you're asking us to look into.
No, it's not. I was asking you to tell the Attorney General's office to do another review of the police complaint system. And you guys said that's a broad public policy issue, something we can't investigate. This is about the Memorandum of Understanding.
Do you have the letter we sent you in 2010?
No, I don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have been helpful to answer.
Yeah, I know what it says, though. It says you can't investigate broad public policy issues.
I've been reading to you from what the letter says, and that's not what it says. I can read to you the paragraph one more time if you'd like, that explains why we're not looking into the ministry.
Okay.
In regard to your concern that the ministry unfairly refused to investigate your allegations that the OIPRD was covering up your complaints about the Hamilton Police Service, our office reviewed the relevant legislation and made inquiries to the ministry. The Ministry advised our office that the OIPRD is an independent office and that the Director has the authority under the Police Services Act to review and respond to public complaints about police conduct. The Director also has discretion to refuse to review complaints in certain circumstances. As such, the Ministry declined to intervene on the basis that it does not interfere with the independence and day-to-day decision-making authority of the OIPRD.
But that's not what the Memorandum of Understanding says.
The Memorandum...
You guys are just covering this up now. What you're doing right now is called obstruction of justice.
I'm sorry that you feel that way, Robert. You're welcome to consult with legal counsel. I'd be happy to provide you a phone number if you're interested.
No. I don't need a lawyer to tell me what the Memorandum of Understanding says. It clearly says they can hold him accountable. It says the Director is accountable to the Attorney General.
Right. That doesn't take away from the OIPRD's independence. It doesn't negate the fact that it's an independent office.
Okay, so give me a circumstance where the Director could be held accountable by the Attorney General's office.
Well, do you know who appoints the Director of the OIPRD?
No.
Well, I think information like that would be helpful in...
You're not answering my question, though.
So, the OIPRD Director gets replaced from time to time. And I'm asking who appoints the OIPRD Director.
But you're not answering my question. Under what circumstances could they hold them accountable if they're independent?
By the appointment of the Director.
That's not what the Memorandum of Understanding says.
Well, that's a different interpretation between yourself and our office over what accountability means.
Well, there's a definition of accountability in the dictionary.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this is a situation where you're upset with the outcome and you're looking for a way for our office to be involved, and our office has explained to you why we're not going to be involved, and our office has further made a note that we're not going to respond to this complaint any further because it was dealt with in 2010. So
okay.
I think that's going to conclude our conversation.
Okay, so how can I get a message to the Ombudsman himself? Or are you going to cover that up too?
Our office is not covering anything up.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm tape recording this phone call. I'm putting it on my website. Then I'm going to the news media with it. Then you're getting charged with obstruction of justice.
Robert, I'm not sure that we're having a productive conversation.
Yeah, because you're screwing me around. The Memorandum of Understanding says he's accountable to the Attorney General for fulfilling his roles and responsibilities under the Police Services Act. His responsibility is to deal with complaints in a fair and transparent manner, which he's not doing.
Well, again, I think this goes back to the fact that you're disappointed with the outcome in a particular case and suggesting that they're not fulfilling their role.
Yeah.
The Ministry of the Attorney General explained to our office why they were not going to intervene, and that doesn't then give us the right to investigate the OIPRD. No.
You're twisting my words around now. You are clearly screwing me around here. Did not ask you guys to investigate the OIPRD. I asked you guys to investigate the Attorney General's office.
Right, and we explained why we're not going to investigate the Attorney General's office.
So tell me how the Memorandum of Understanding does not apply. Like, give me an example of how they could hold him accountable.
We don't discuss things in hypotheticals.
And where does it say that?
We deal with specific complaints.
Yeah.
We investigate those complaints. We come to fact-based conclusions, and that is how we respond to complaints that come into our office. You brought your complaint to our office. We reviewed it. The fact that the ministry provides discretion and allows for independence of the OIPRD does not mean that there's no circumstances in which the Attorney General would ever hold the director accountable.
Okay, so what circumstances would he hold him accountable?
Again, our office deals with specific complaints, and I'm not prepared to discuss hypotheticals. So ultimately, Robert, because of...
Okay, so how do I get a hold of the Ombudsman himself?
You're welcome to write into our office.
No, I want his phone number or his email address.
I don't provide the phone number and
email Why not?
Of Paul Dubé.
Why not?
Robert, you called into our office.
Yeah, why don't you provide the phone number?
I've explained to you our office.
Why don't you provide the phone number for the Ombudsman? Because you're clearly covering this up, so you provide me your phone number. She had nothing to hide.
Robert, I've explained to you what our letter said in 2010.
Why don't you give me the number for the Ombudsman's office, for the Ombudsman himself?
The Ombudsman delegates his authority to staff.
Yes, and I want to tell him what you're doing.
On his behalf.
I want to tell him what you're doing. I believe he needs to know what you're doing here.
Well, I'm sorry that you're upset, Robert. I'm not going to be providing Paul Dubé's contact information.
Why not?
Submit a web submission.
Why not?
You're welcome to do so.
Why are you not going to give me his number?
I've explained to you our office's position.
No. I want to know why you're not giving me the Ombudsman's direct phone number.
The Ombudsman delegates his authority to staff.
Yes, and he's in charge of you guys, so he can deal with you guys covering up complaints.
Robert, I'm going to end this phone call. You're welcome to submit a web submission, but as I've stated, this is not something our office is going to respond to any further.
All right, I'll see you in court.
Okay, good.
I'm coming after you, man.